till I'd extracted them from the bale. But we all make mistakes. That is also done. So we have hay, we have sheep, we have food for the dog. Hi dog. Okay. It's 7 o'clock in the evening. I think we should stand on the patio and watch the sunset. Although the sunset's kind of that way. The darkness can fall over the valley. Probably go a bit faster. There we go. Ooh. Clouds change direction. Okay. So, still 5 degrees, no sunflowers. I am concerned. Well, I'm not fully concerned yet, but we've got a lot of crop or a lot of land invested in sunflowers. 7 o'clock, call it 8, 12 hours, probably good. So we let the sun set. Oh, I didn't pay off any loan interest. Ugh. Oh, I didn't pay off any loan, so the interest is still hovering around 500. The ground temps are 8 degrees. Yes. I need to go for a drive. Oops. And run over the dog's butt. Okay, we will drive down and check our lower fields. Hopefully the grass is doing grass stuff. Oh, it certainly looks like it. So we now have a fresh field of grass. Yay. And the other change I made off camera is we have a pathway down here. Not great, but it's representative of what I was expecting. And we have a field of weeds. Oh, we didn't put herbicide on this field yet because nothing's growing. I could go and get myself the field harrow and do some manual weeding. So, sunflowers are not growing. They're still just in planted state. So I'm guessing switchovers at midnight, so it wasn't warming up at midnight. So we have to wait till early summer before they start growing. What's the planting schedule on sunflowers? So tomorrow, see, it's soybeans and corn that run into summer planting. We just have to hope that the sunflowers germinate tomorrow, or this could be a disaster in the making. So I think this grass here that we're reversing onto is just done, broken. Grass along here might or may not be, because this is painted on grass. I think I will go and get the could use the Lindener to do the grass fields and the weeding. Stop. I need to watch what I'm driving and not look around at the scenery. Oh, and yeah, you missed the garage door. Not that there is a garage door, or whatever. Engine. That's good. Hi, doggy. Okay, how's the sheep? I didn't check on that when I was checking on the crops. The sheep will need 3 bales of hay, some clean-up and some water. We could probably take care of that. Also need to check on the wool production because I'm sure we've got at least 2 full bales. Okay, so we'll come back later when that one's full and move 2 again. So yes, sheep, food, let's go. Or I could take the Fendt to the store. That's the tractor we usually go with. Yes, feeding the sheep, you need food. Let's do that thing. Problematic. Left from the top. There, and grab the top 3. So yeah, we don't need. I think we fed them 4 bales yesterday, but that's because we still had 400 sheep in the pen. Since we're down to close to 350. I don't know, if I waited until midday I would probably need to still feed them 4. But, we're good with 3 right now. Open that, turn that. Come on, let's go. Top 2 buckets fall out. What is that? Oh, that's sad. Oh, that also means I can't clean the sheep pen. 24,000. I wonder how much is left in that bale. 207. You know what? I think I might leave that there and let them graze it. We're just going to have to come back later to shovel up the grass because there's no room in the trough to add that in. There's probably about 300 litres of grass sat there. Anyway, I guess since we're in this tractor, this is the tractor we're going to go shopping in. Do like that weight. Very, very handy. I don't really adjust it. It's an adjustable weight. But my needs for adjusting it don't really come up. Once you've got the ideal weight, you've got the ideal weight. However, it does mean that you can buy the weight and then add and remove weights until you get what you need for the tractor you're using, and then you'll never change it again. But it's, in a way, it's a little bit better than going to the store or, you know, oh, I'll buy a 1600 kilo weight. Oh, it's too heavy for this tractor. Oh, it's not heavy enough for lifting 4 bales on this tractor. So you end up, I've seen a number of times people have ended up buying a weight and then saying, oh, that was the wrong one, I need to get a different one. So this is a little bit faster than the 90, which we used to have. One thing I do want to check on though is 15. Front wheel steering. That'll work. I'm honestly not sure if you're supposed to stick to front wheel steering on the roads or not in the UK. That might be a thing. But it is easier to drive at 32 miles an hour with just front wheel steering than all wheel steering. If I'm driving a telehandler on the road, I'll lock the back wheels so I can drive it faster. Also, if I'm doing a follow me with a all-wheel steer tractor, and I'm not the one driving the all-wheel steer tractor, I'll lock the back wheels for the helper, because helpers can get really messed up doing all-wheel steering. You get strobes rather than beacons. The 90 doesn't come with either, so it's really kind of limited as a yard tractor, where you're not going to be driving out on the roads, warning people you're coming. You're going that way. We're doing 10 after 11. Not that we can drive fast with cars this speed on the roads. Yay. Okay. Now, I do have a heavy weight here that specifically tailored for the Fendt when we come shopping for consumables. Okay. So last week I added this thing. I think I was going to go with that design. So Dusseldorf and that kind of matches. So 1650, nice cheap thing. And while we're here, 75, we'll pay 25. So I've still got 17,000 money left, which is good. Could have unlocked the steering for that. Doesn't quite match our London blue, but it's okay. So I've been surmising that because you can't put herbicide down in the same growth stage as you can put down fertilizer, maybe having a weeder would be a good plan for our grass fields. So we'll be able to weed the grass fields then herbicide the main crops. Now I'm going to test this out on the sunflower fields just because. Then we'll go off to the grass fields and chop the weeds up there. If it works, that will be a good thing. But this is it's only about 5-6 meters wide. So it's not going to take up a lot of room, and we're not. The thing is I don't need a big expensive weeder because we're not weeding an entire field like you do in the base game, unless you turn the weeds off. So this is entirely for spot weeding, primarily on the grass fields, and will allow us to spray fertilizer on the fields and get the 100% fertilization on grass fields, and at the same time control the weeds. With the latest patch of seasons, you can reduce or you can control the weed levels. I'll show that when we get to the field. Yeah, it did remind me that I did a whole off-camera session stacking the hay bales in the hay barn. That took quite a while. They're all now nice and stacked and ready to go. Okay, we are nearly here. Oh, and nearly missed it. So, we'll turn the beacons off. The other problem with this tractor is it doesn't have narrow tyres, so strictly speaking not ideal for doing this on this field anyway. But that seemed to work, as I said, because we're only doing I'm not sure this does crab steering, so let's check. Yeah, we're in steer mode. So basically all we do is we drive up to a strip of weeds and we rip up just that strip without having to worry about the entire field width. Also with grass, if we accidentally miss catching the weeds at the right time, when we mow, the weeds will get reset. So we can just come back when they're this size and rip them up. But we won't have 50% of our field weeds by the end of the year. As soon as the sunflowers start growing, we'll be back down here to herbicide and fertilize. I think they just need one more stage of fertilization. Really rip out one way. Let me check this batch on the side here. Yeah, that's in the field. Okay, so I think I'm satisfied. This is a good weeder for our farm because we're not completely organic. Frankly, it is easier to spray an entire field with herbicide and prevent any future breakouts of weeds. Because the problem is I can only do this now. Oh, great demand at this minute. Yeah, I can only do this at this stage and when the plants are just growing. So it's not practical on an arable field. The point where our barley, our wheat and our canola is, we couldn't use a weeder on that field, those fields, because we'd just destroy the crop as well. So again, that's why we can run with this tractor, because you can't use a weeder on a crop that can be destroyed. I think going back to the earlier conversation, I think the farming agency has a modified crop destruction and does destroy grass when you drive over it, so you need to be very careful what you're using when you're cutting grass. Anyway, nearly done here. And if that's the case, we'll have to enlist our Valtra as our weeder. On our grass fields. Hopefully the weeders don't destroy the grass, because that would be sad. Okay, I'll let that coast to a stop there. That should be next page. No weeds on that field, so I can run around here. We can do the weeds on these fields, and so yeah, this field needs another layer of fertilizer. That corner there probably never going to get fertilized to 100%, and these two are dark enough. Yeah, these two just need one more as well. So in the time the sunflowers are growing, we've got time to do one layer of fertilizer, one layer of herbicide, and then chew off our fingers hoping that the sunflowers are ready to harvest before it snows. Sometimes there's no snow this last year. Possibly the Challenger. So yeah, the grass strip down the middle I think is probably a little wide. It's hard to tell with the the landscaping tool how wide the strip is. But not to worry. It's a representation of a path, which is what I felt that part of the field was missing. Go find some more. So yeah, I'm guessing this day is going to be extremely fast. So it's late spring, so tomorrow 4 o'clock is when the silage bales will be ready. And try that again. And hopefully the sunflowers will grow tomorrow morning, which would then mean that we can start working on those. They might not grow immediately. They may be growth stage 0 for a couple of days. But then there's also the barley may need to be done as well, because that's growing real fast. So it's a nice reason, it's nice to have a reason to use the weeder. Because I think for the most part, most people have given up on it, but I do see benefit on the grass fields. Because once you mow a grass field, you've basically got 2 growth stages to get it fully fertilised again. And there isn't 2 growth stages. Well, sorry, there is 2 growth stages, but that means there's no time to deal with weeds, at least not chemically. So it was sort of once a year during the winter. The grass partially grows in the fall and then dies over the winter and re-establishes in the spring. So you've got that little period in the fall where you can put chemicals on the grass and then get 2 more stages in the spring. So that's what we did the first 2 years, but unfortunately our grass didn't establish come spring. So we've ended up being able to plough it and replant it and have loads of time to get all of the chemical work done. Sadly, we already put herbicide down on this field, and then I had to plough it in because it wasn't growing, so we've lost the advantage of that fertilizer. There. 2 patches here, and give it 5 seconds and it'll all start regrowing again. Oh, this isn't the grass. Oh, this is the sugar beet field. Huh. Okay. So yes, in seasons now, we now have crop damage scale, which you can increase or decrease, and weed intensity scale, so you can decrease the intensity of the weeds now. Now, I've not played with either. Crop damage is 50% default, and weed intensity is 20% default. I will be removing these gates and the barbed wire fences around them when we move sheep into this field. And we'll be replanting that field as grass next winter. Okay. Go find weeds. This stage is quite easy. But yeah, the grass has started growing, so that's kind of a good thing. We'll get this field done, the top field done. I've got a feeling, actually I can't remember if I did herbicide this field. I thought I did. But if I didn't, then this is all ploughed in weeds that are re-establishing themselves. So hopefully we won't see too much more as the grass grows. I don't know. Get one of those. No, not this one. But yeah, back in 17, you could use a weeder as one of your fertilization stages. So you used to have the little Massey 5700, 5600, and stick it on a worker, just run around all of the grass fields weeding them, because it was free, apart from the cost of diesel to run the tractor. Probably a good thing to use the electric tractor for. Oh, just missed one. Huh. Gotcha. Hopefully seasons respect weeders, so we don't see all of these come back next couple of hours, minutes, seconds. We done? It looks like we're done, so we'll fold this. No! Patch at the entrance we missed. Okay, now we're all done. So I think right now I could probably close this gate. We can drive back down here tomorrow in the Land Rover and take a look at the fields, but we don't have to drive into them. We can just